Something feels off afterward. Not sharp. Not dramatic, just heavier. The room is quiet again. The words are done. The connection is settled. And still, something lingers in your chest. It is not sadness exactly. Not relief either. It is more like carrying a coat you forgot to take off. Warm, but weighted. You try to shake it loose. A breath, a stretch, a glass of water. But the feeling stays. The conversation was deep, honest, even gentle. So why does your body feel like it has been holding something too long? There is a strange fatigue that arrives after moments like that. Not the kind sleep fixes, not the kind you can explain. It comes quietly. It sits behind your eyes, in your shoulders, in the slow way you move afterward. Most people would say it was a good talk, meaningful, connecting, but something inside you feels denser than before. You replay small pieces without trying. A pause they had, the way their voice softened, the moment their words dropped lower than they meant them to. You did not analyze, you did not pry, you just listened. And now, hours later, the weight is still there, but that's not the part most people notice. What they notice is how present you were, how easy it felt to open up around you, how understood they felt when they left. They don't see what happens after. They don't feel the quiet pull inward, the subtle need for space, the way silence suddenly feels necessary. You sit alone, and the air feels thicker. There's something quieter happening underneath all of this, something that does not announce itself. It begins before the conversation even ends, while the other person is still talking, while you are still nodding, still holding eye contact, still open. Something in you is already taking on more than words. You don't notice it at first, you only feel it later. The heaviness is not from caring too much. That explanation is too easy. It's not from being sensitive. That word flattens what is actually happening. And it's not because the story was sad. Even joyful conversations can leave the same weight. That's where it starts to change. The feeling isn't tied to the content. It's tied to the depth, to what was exchanged without being said. You notice how some talks pass right through you, light, forgettable, and others stay lodged somewhere deeper. The difference is not drama, it's proximity, how close someone gets to the place in you that listens. You don't open that place often, but when you do, it opens fully. There's no half door. You let people speak from where they actually are, not where they pretend to be. And that kind of listening has a cost. Still, that explanation feels incomplete, because the weight is not just emotional, it's physical. Your chest feels fuller, your limbs slower, almost as if something has been placed inside you gently. Without asking, you don't resent it, you don't regret the conversation, you just feel altered. People often think connection is energizing, that being close refills you. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it leaves you heavier than before. And that contradiction stays unresolved for a long time. You may even wonder if something is wrong with you, why others seem fine afterward, why they move on so easily. You don't. You carry the residue, the tone, the unsaid grief, the hope they were afraid to name. You don't remember deciding to hold it. You just did. But that's not the part most people notice. What they notice is how safe they felt, how seen. They rarely notice how quiet you become afterward, how you pull back, how you need distance not from them, but from everything. The heaviness isn't loud enough to demand attention, so it goes unspoken, it just stays. There's something quiet happening underneath, a subtle shift in how you hold yourself, a small inward turn, and it happens every time the conversation crosses a certain depth. Not all depth, a specific kind. The kind where someone reveals something they haven't organized yet, where the truth is still warm, still unprocessed. You feel it when they pause mid-sentence, when they look away, when their voice drops. That's when something in you leans forward, not to fix, not to guide, just to receive. And reception at that level is not passive, it is intimate. You take in not just what they say, but how it lives in them. The weight arrives later because it isn't fully yours at first. It needs time to settle. Halfway through the day, late at night, in the quiet, that's when it becomes noticeable. And that's when the question forms, why does this feel so heavy? This is where the understanding begins to surface, not as an answer, as a recognition. What you feel afterward is not exhaustion from empathy. It is the sensation of holding something without a boundary. When you listen deeply, you don't just hear, you make space. And in that space, other people's emotional weight does not bounce off. It rests. There's a difference between understanding someone and containing them. Most people understand from a distance. You contain from the inside, not intentionally, not consciously. It happens because your attention does not skim. It sinks. You don't filter their experience through your own story. You let it be what it is. And when you do that, their emotional gravity has somewhere to land. That's the heaviness. It is not yours, but it is in you. This is why the feeling is hard to name. It doesn't feel like sadness, because it isn't your sadness. It doesn't feel like worry, because it isn't your problem. It feels like density, like something with weight, but no edges. You are not drained because you gave too much. You are heavy because you held something whole. There is a quiet difference, and it changes how you move afterward. You become slower, more inward, not withdrawn, just full. That fullness needs space, not stimulation, not reassurance, just room to settle back where it belongs. But you rarely give yourself that room because you don't always realize what happened. You think you are tired or moody or off. You don't realize you are still carrying the echo of someone else's inner world. The realization does not arrive as a solution, it arrives as relief because the heaviness stops feeling mysterious. It becomes understandable. Not something to push away, not something to judge. Just something that happens when depth meets openness. This is why shallow conversations don't touch you and deep ones stay long after the words end. It's not about being emotional. It's about permeability. Some people listen with walls, some listen with windows. You listen with doors open, and doors, once open, let things in fully. This awareness doesn't fix the weight. It softens your relationship to it. You stop asking why you feel wrong and start noticing when you feel full. The heaviness begins to feel less like a burden, more like a signal, a sign that something real passed through. As the pacing slows, the feeling changes shape. It becomes quieter, less dense. Not gone, just integrated. You don't need to do anything with it. It doesn't need meaning, it just needs time. Silence helps. Stillness helps. Not because they heal, but because they allow the weight to settle back into the world. The conversations will keep happening. The depth will still find you. This part of you doesn't turn off. But the heaviness no longer feels confusing. It feels familiar, and in that familiarity there is a kind of calm, and not lightness, just balance. The room feels normal again. The body exhales, and the quiet returns to being just quiet.